Hello, friend. What I'm going to begin doing is discussing and taking inspirations from other conversations that I have in regards to these topics with other friends and community members, so that everybody can benefit from the discussion rather than just the single person in that discussion. So this comes from one of our community members. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I get tired of being positive, like I'm faking it. That's why I'm considering just doing more mindfulness, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because my previous thoughts, mental momentum, or the whole positive thing that I'm trying to generate internally is the egoistic form of happiness. Does that make sense? Now, what was neat about this experience that my friend wasn't aware of, that I'll make him aware of now, is when he sent the first message, I had already gotten the answer and the understanding that it's just that he's using the ego to try and manipulate happiness, manipulate positivity. And you see in his next response, that's exactly what he said. So this is me validating that was a telepathic experience for the both of us. A lot of these psychic things are natural, and we don't know how to, when we're not considering developing psychic abilities, maybe we don't really consider them at all, and kind of look at it and analyze it and examine it. But that was exactly it. That was an expression right there of telepathy. And you are right. You're right. That's exactly what it is. It's like you're efforting happiness. You're trying to manipulate happiness from the mind. And what Spirit is saying, what Spirit reminded me of is I used to have this saying: if you have a rock that has anger written on it, and you have a rock that has happiness written on it, and you throw it into a still river, both of those rocks disturb the stillness. Your stillness is your power. That's your replenishment. That's your nourishment. We need not go outside of it to try and create happiness, because happiness is our natural state. So what Spirit brought to my mind, because we need to, now that we understand that it's a little bit of an error, how do we address it? The general answer that Spirit's giving is, instead of using the effort egoistic mind to try to correct the error that the ego created, is to just surrender all thought. Sit in stillness. As Abraham Hicks would say, that would allow the cork to rise to the top. That just allows the vibration to naturally increase. You don't have to cultivate happiness. Just cultivate awareness of what you already are, and happiness is there. You're already sufficient and abundant in that manner. But it's a great lesson, because as we're developing, we're making these incremental gains. We're making this progression over and over again, and in these little increments. We don't start somewhere at the very beginning and then leap all the way to the finish line. So this is a common misunderstanding. Well, not a common misunderstanding. Yes, to an extent, actually, a common misunderstanding, and a lesson that we all must go through, whether or not we become aware that it was actually a limitation of ours. Sometimes we just jump through without even recognizing, hey, now I already have this awareness. You know what I mean? We might kind of jump past it a little bit, but that's it. We're not intended to. We can't egoistically manipulate the ego's creations. Meaning we're intended to, those egoistic limitations are intended to serve the purpose of suffering and stress, so that it awakens our awareness, so we pay attention and say, what I'm doing is not working. And when you've done that enough, hopefully somebody or something in your experience is able to offer you some insights and say, that's Spirit's job. And hopefully somebody in your experience knows how to get practical with spirituality and apply it so that you can benefit from it, rather than holding it as a concept which is unusable. It's not, Spirit isn't meant, interpreting Spirit from your ego isn't empowerment. It's still lack and limitation. Stepping into your Spirit, that's the empowerment. That's how you get around and beyond and over and through the trappings or the conditions or the expressions that the ego created. So that's something to be aware of when we're doing these things, because like I said, it's otherwise we're still trying to use the wrong tool for the job. As I said in a previous video, I'll trust that these leaves aren't too loud under my feet as I'm walking away from my wonderful neighbors that have come outside. If we continue to use the ego to create, because we're trying to clean up the ego's previous mess, we're only creating more lack and limitation. Even the ego, in a positive manner, is stress to an extent. It's still resistance. What is it resistance to? Our true nature, Source itself. It's interpreting other than Source. It's interpreting other than God. It's interpreting other than Spirit. Or if we just got into a still state, we would allow Spirit to provide revelation, and we would see how it's unnecessary. But we have to learn to walk before we run. We have to learn to crawl before we can walk, and this is part of the process. So it's a beautiful and important question. And what I've found in my experience is that we don't always get it. Somebody might have put this information in front of us previously, but we don't get it until we've done enough examination and had enough experience to kind of ripen ourselves and make ourselves ready to get to the point where it just makes sense, and we almost get it not get it on our own, but we're ready. We're receptive to it. Now we're ready, So contemplate. If you're having a similar experience, are you spending so much time trying to be positive? What's funny is, I'll just walk a little further here and sit on a swing so that I don't disturb the audio. While I was driving home today, as we were out and about at the beach, and everybody's so nice out here, everybody's so much more attentive to you. They're not so distracted and stimulated away from not only you, but themselves. So as I'm driving, I'm waving at everybody as we pass. And when the one person drove by, I noticed myself, I tried to smile. My ego wanted to smile so that I could express to them the energy. And I felt my lips kind of shake when I did it. And what Spirit was bringing to my attention was, that was me trying to emulate and force an expression of blessing or nicety to this person through the ego. And Spirit said, don't worry about the physical expression. Just be it. Be that energy and consciousness. That's the important part. That's the important part. That's doing your work. Otherwise, it is fake. Just as my friend mentioned in his when he says it feels fake, that's what it means. It's not your genuine nature. It's not genuinely you. So he's aware enough to recognize that it wasn't genuine. It felt fake. It felt stressed. It felt tiring. Those are all attributes of the ego, unmistakably. Right? So, 5 stars to my friend, right? We're all on our journeys and paths and different points, and he got it. He posed the question to me, and then he posed the answer to me. He got it before I even intervened or got involved. He got it. But he's developing very well in a lot of ways that are very impressive. So there you go, my friends. Another little tidbit. Hopefully you gain some insight and something to contemplate and hopefully apply. I love you, and bless you, my friend.